Hey y'all, we back with another show, Three Reasons Why. And me, I'm CP209, out in Las Vegas, Nevada, born and raised Stockton, California. And I'm here with my two partners. And today we're gonna talk to you about our top 5 games. And here's Marcus.
What's going on, man? It's Common Sense Marcus coming to you live from the 916, originally 209, straight from my mama. What's good? Let's get it. Tiger.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the 209 Tiger. Just out here, regular dude with regular problems. 209, stand up. Let's get it. Let's go.
All right, first, we're gonna start with 5. We're gonna go 5 through number 1, then our honorable mentions. First, we got Marcus. Go ahead, man.
What's going on, man? Yeah, top 5 games of all time. Coming in number 5 for me. A lot of people know this. Madden football. I spent many nights playing Madden football, taking L's, giving out L's, doing push-ups. Man, Madden football was just a classic overall game for me. I don't know if y'all enjoyed that or not, but it gotta be like the early Maddens too, not these late Maddens. I'm old school, so I'm like 07, 06, 08. That's when I was in my prime, just whooping ass all the time on Madden. It has to be on the PS too. Fuck that Xbox. PS. I like that button a little bit better. That's my number 5, Madden football.
Yes, sir. Now we got 209.
Okay. All right. Before I get into my number 5 game, just like some context, I kind of did a mix of game and franchise because, I just kind of like picked the franchise and just, and kind of highlighted the games that I like, but it was really hard. And like I said, I've changed the order, so maybe my orders might not be the best because, you know what I'm saying? I have been on limited sleep this week, so every day my list has been changing. But before I get into number 5, the honorable mention that leads me into my number 5 is Street Fighter 2 from 1992. That was, for me, the birth of competitive fighting games, I think, as far as strategy, the characters. It had Blanca, Guile, Ryu, Ken. It just kind of ushered in like a whole new wave for fighting games that I had it on Genesis. So yeah, so on Sega Genesis. So for me, I got a lot of it revolutionized fighting. I got a lot of gameplay at it. As long as with everybody at school. But my number 5 game that was maybe my all-time greatest fighting game is Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis. The greatest, most revolutionary fighting game as far as violence. It was ahead of its time. There was no fatalities at the time. There was really no blood in video games. It was just kind of like a black ooze that spilled from people. What it did, it just opened up that whole free landscape for all kind of games to come after. Killer Instincts and stuff like that came, but none of them had the effect of like Sub-Zero ripping somebody's head off, Scorpion burning them to the ground, and so on and so on. So that's my number 5 game, Mortal Kombat on the Sega Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a revolutionary game, like you said. They broke the door down.
Yes, sir. Like you said, mine was kind of hard too. I just kind of kept them in my head because I would have been all day. I've still been writing. It's still difficult, but my number 5, I'm gonna go a little bit more new school, and it's a series, and it's Uncharted. I know it can, usually when you buy, say a PlayStation console or something, and the games that come with it, they usually whack. But I played this one, it blew me out my chair. You know what I'm saying? All the action, and it also had a storyline that was kind of good to go with it. And then like you climbing up heights, you know what I'm saying? And you actually kind of, well, I don't like heights, so I'm kind of nervous while I'm playing it. Like I'm gonna fall. Like if you fall, I'm gonna fall and bust my ass. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's a lot of action, and I like the storyline of it. So that's my number 5.
I never played Uncharted. Is it like Tomb Raiders?
Oh, that's
Yeah, yeah.
it's like an Indiana, like a modern Indiana Jones almost.
It's like it's more. It's not as deep like Tomb Raider. You know what I'm saying? But it's almost like the same. Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up. It sounds tight. I might have to put that on my list next time. All right, for my number 4, man, I'm gonna take it back, all the way back, not to Atari days. You know, shout out to Atari. My dad had Atari. You know, Pac-Man. We ain't going that far, but I'm going back to the original console I bought, Nintendo, and that original game that comes with Duck Hunter, not Duck Hunter, but Mario, the first ever Mario. That game, man, for me, I just spent hours on that game with my sister, just trying to find all the secret tunnels, the secret tubes, jumping up on turtles, getting 99 lives real quick. Just a lot of time back in the the late 80s, early 90s, just crunching, just grinding out on that game, the original Mario, the 2D where you sideways. You got 2 buttons, jump and run. That's it. That's all you had. But a lot of fun times playing that with my sister and cousins and stuff like that. Mario's coming in at number 4 for me.
All right, what you got? 209.
My number 4, originally, I had Grand Theft Auto as my number 4 kind of game, but then I realized it's almost, I took it out of my list as a whole just because it was almost too perfect of a franchise, but it wasn't something I played it, but it wasn't nothing I was just like really deep in, maybe until the most recent ones, but it was more of like, okay, kind of like a sports game, just kind of like go do some senseless violence and then, jump on something else. So I got rid of that. Much love to Rockstar and Grand Theft. My number 4 game is out of all the series, out of the whole franchise, there's one game that I actually liked to play more than any other Mario game, and that's Super Mario Brothers 3. The one from '88, where you could turn into the raccoon, the frog, and you can fly away and stuff like that. That was my favorite Mario of all time. And yeah, I think, man, maybe it was easily one of my top 3-4 Nintendo games I ever played. Just an all-around great game for the original NES. What about you, CP?
Whistles. And the whistle cracking.
Yeah, for sure. Me at number 4, I'm gonna keep the same thing going. I was just gonna say the whole Mario franchise, but number 3, Super Mario 3, that was my favorite one. Remember, I got it, you know what I'm saying, and he could fly and all that, turn into the raccoon, so that it was on from then. It opened up. But to tell you about the Mario franchise, I only played like 1 through 3. But it was funny. I beat 2 and 3 before I beat number 1. I could never beat number 1. I could make it to Koopa, but I could never beat Koopa until I learned the little trick. You just run under him.
Right.
And somebody, I think I was watching a kid. I forgot who it was. It was a kid, I remember, and he just ran up under him. Like, oh, you just do it like that? I was like, oh my God. But yeah. Number 3, that was my number 4 video game on my list. Yeah.
That's what's up. Having Mario be on all our lists, man, that just shows you how like instrumental that was to our childhood. Like a lot of kids won't know those Mario series, those early Mario series. I see this Mario Odyssey, be like, what the fuck is this? A hat? It's a different world. It's a different world.
Any Marios you ain't even heard of.
Hey, Mario's been in the game a long time. Like shit.
Branched off to tennis, Mario Kart, other things, but yeah, the original Mario still hold weight. But coming in for number 3 for me, it was going back and forth on this, but I'm gonna go with number 3. I know you took it off your list, but for me, Grand Theft Auto 3, man, that just blew my mind. You could just run up and I was probably a teenager at the time, and so I was a little rebellious, but you could just run up and take somebody's car and then run them over. I just used to love. I just used to love just hijacking people's car or doing their little missions. It was just like intense. I remember I spent many hours on that, just staying up late constantly. Like forget work, forget whatever. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 3. Little Russian dude coming overseas, just trying to beat it. I don't even know if I beat it. I think I beat it at the end finally, but just the overall content, like that's when it started to be like not just a straight mission. You could do all these other side missions, and I love that about games. Like the side stories, I really grind into that. But yeah, Grand Theft Auto 3 coming in. Shout out to Rockstar. Definitely a classic game that should be on everybody's list. But I guess Tiger, like get that shit out of here. That's number 3 though.
I just took it off as a franchise because it's like it's a franchise full of 10s, so it's like, you know what I mean? But it's like I'm not like somebody who's really into Grand Theft as some of my other friends.
Just for me, I know that one was big because the first 2 were on the PC, and I remember like you had this you had the camera from the top, like the bird's eye view, and I was like, oh, this game seems all right. But when they got off the PC to the console, woo-wee, man, that thing was solid. Definitely solid. Like I said, it's many hours, many frustrations. And then when you find the cheat codes where you don't die or the body armor and stuff like that, oh, it's on. Trying to get 5 stars to the militaries after you. Oh, man, that was fun. That was fun for me, at least. That's my number 3. Coming at number 3, Grand Theft Auto 3.
All right. 209 Tiger, what you got, man?
All right. So before I go into number 3, I'm gonna use my second honorable mention, and I'm gonna go with 007 GoldenEye.
Classic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really big on first-person shooters, but even I had to play this game. It was fun. It was like it was the original multiplayer shootout deathmatch, the golden gun, all that, the AKs. A lot of good times, having a little bit to drink, having a little bit to chief, and playing GoldenEye. But with that said,
on the 64, right?
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the Nintendo 64. And just for the sake, because I gotta get this one because it's gonna haunt me. I know the game everybody thinks is gonna be up there, and it pains me to be like it's not. My last honorable mention, a game for the longest. If you probably would have asked me 10 years ago, which was the greatest game of all time, I might have gave you this answer.
Hold on. Metal Gear Solid.
No.
Oh, okay. My fault.
But my last honorable mention is Final Fantasy VII. The game that revolutionized RPGs to the world. I tell you, like, it was ahead of its time with the cutscenes, the magic system, the materia system. The story was awesome. It was such a deep development on the characters individually. Cloud, Sephiroth, the music was awesome. They just did the remake. I mean, that says enough for how popular it was. That game probably, it could be as far as it was the first game on a PlayStation that I actually was like, when I wasn't really big on Tomb Raider. Twisted Metal was cool, but Final Fantasy VII was probably for the PS1, the game that, it was 3 discs. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that game for me was everything in 1997. But there is one game that took over the top RPG ever. And it's a recent game, and it's a game with a story so powerful, it makes you, from an outside playing the video game, I mean, this is me, I'm playing it in the dark, it makes you look into your own soul and your own conscience. And that game is Persona 5. I could make a case for this game to be the greatest single video game I ever played due to the subject, the content, like the teenagers going through teenage life. The adults don't care about the youth. They're abusing the youth. You know what I mean? It has a element of the deadly sins in it. You know what I mean? The 7 sins. It has everything from a morality standpoint that I've never got from any other video game to make you think it's more a question of how clean is somebody's soul on the game. It was a great story, great characters, great moves. They just released Royale. Royale is even better. Persona 5 to me at number 3 was hard, but arguably one of the top 5 games I've ever played in my life, regardless of franchise or anything. Go ahead, CP. What's your number 2?
Number
3, I think, right?
Yeah, we're on 3.
All right, we're on 3.
Number 3, this is hard, man. But I would have to say the Resident Evil series franchise. Resident Evil. I started actually playing on number 2, the double disc. And yeah, it just became a challenge. It was kind of like when you're reading a book, you want to know what's gonna happen next. You know what I'm saying? That it kept me on the edge of my seat. So Resident Evil, then number 7 is just off the hook. Resident Evil 7. I don't know if you guys played that one. That's off the hook. But I
haven't played number 7.
Number 8's in the works right now. That's gonna be off the chain. But yeah, Resident Evil series. The Resident Evil Nemesis, the original, that was crazy too. The dude chasing you around. The dude, like you run into a room, usually the chase is over. You know what I'm saying? When Nemesis came out, this dude, you ran into the room, thought you was cool, door closed. This dude come busting through the wall on your ass. So yeah, with the rocket launcher on his shoulder. But yeah, the Resident Evil series, that was my number 3.
Yeah, definitely a fun game for sure. I remember playing a bunch of those. Raccoon City.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely tight. Yeah. Shout out to Final Fantasy VII. I never really got into it, but I got an uncle who's probably like 60-something. At the time, he's probably like 30-something. That dude was just a nerd on that Final Fantasy game. Like that took a hold of a lot of the Dungeons and Dice players and those type of people. They love that game. So yeah.
And let me tell you guys, it was like so close out of the one that didn't make the list, Mass Effect 2 and the Mass Effect franchise, because that, as a franchise, I think that is the greatest RPG franchise I think I've ever played. Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect, and then Mass Effect 3. I didn't play the last one they put out. Final Fantasy 7 and Persona 5, but I just Persona 5 just that little bit. But yeah, it's pro.
I never played Persona 5. I played Mass Effect 2. I just one of those games like we pick it up, you're gonna be in there for years. So you know what I'm saying? I wasn't able to do it.
Mass Effect 2 had like every conversation was like a choice, and every choice like right away, you know what I mean? Like either started a conflict or like you got closer with one, but you burned somebody else. Mass Effect 2 was hella tight.
It's kind of like that one Detroit, huh?
Mm-hmm. Something similar like that.
Coming in at number 2, again, I gotta take you way back. I gotta take you to when I got a Genesis Sega. And that original game, that little blue hedgehog, Sonic. And Sonic, for me, was just classic, man. Like, went from 2 buttons to 3 buttons, so you had that little extra button to do something with it. Sit there and spin and do whatever. I just remember, like I said, that's when I moved from my mom to my dad, so I didn't have a lot of people around me. But I had Sonic, though. And I spent many hours after school playing Sonic, and that game was just classic. Like I said, beating up on that Dr. Robotic, trying to find secret stuff. The original Sonic. Shout out to Knuckles, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Tails, all them is cool. But that blue hedgehog for me, coming at number 2, I just remember like the enjoyment I got out of it, beating the hell out that game. Like, yeah, I beat this game. Take that. So that was coming in for number 2 for me, Sonic the Hedgehog.
All right, what you got?
All right, my number 2. Like I said, I've moved all these games around. Number 2, man, it's hard because I want to call it number 1, but number 2, I want to highlight 3 of the games out of the series, and they all are at different points. But Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater and Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. It's like Metal Gear Solid like changed tactical. I mean, you're crawling, you're taking on Sniper Wolf in the middle of the blizzard. It was just so revolutionary ahead of its time. I don't want to say the greatest, but some of the greatest story ever in video game, government conspiracy. Depending on which game you're playing, it ranges, but there's always some type of betrayal, you know what I mean? And it's like, is this guy really who he says he is? And this guy's a double agent. And then you've been lied to about what you're doing out in Zanzibar, and it's Foxhound. Snake Eater, the prequel with Boss, where, it tells the story how he lost his eye. That one, to me, I could say that might have been my favorite out of all of them. But Part 5, Phantom Pain, the final send-off for Kojima, the last one, that might be the best overall game. Open world, finally things a lot of people that follow the Metal Gear franchise have been wanting. Metal Gear Solid, I mean, tactical espionage at its finest. That's it. That's my number 2 right there.
I knew you was gonna have that somewhere on your list. I jumped the gun earlier. I knew you was always talking about Metal Gear Solid back in the day. Like, yeah, Snake.
My number 2, we'll go with the Far Cry series.
Mm.
I like it. I watched them like from afar for a while. Then I tried number 5. I thought it was gonna be like too technical, because to give y'all insight, I remember when Tiger started playing that Snake. What's the game you just said? Metal Gear.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid.
Remember, you used to come over to my house and you asked me, did I want to play? And I'd be like, nah, I'll just watch. And I used to just watch like I was watching a movie. Well, I still do that to this day, because it looked too technical and all that stuff, the knocking on the wall and all that. So I used to watch, and I thought the same thing about Far Cry. And I tried it. I tried Far Cry 5. I couldn't put the controller down. And I ended up beating it. Then I went back and played all the other ones, all the way up to the 6, I think it is, with the girls, the twin girls.
I don't know. Yeah.
2 black girls, they're twins. It's after 5, Far Cry 6.
Okay, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, that's my number 2 right there. Yeah.
Definitely a fun game. I remember playing Far Cry 3. It's definitely a lot to do. So
Yeah.
It's a fun game.
I think I beat 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you used to try number 5. The storyline is crazy. Number 6, the storyline crazy too.
I like those type of games because there's a lot of side missions where you got to find like totems and do all the little stuff like that. At least in number 3, I like that type of stuff. I like side missions.
Mm-hmm.
I come to find out. Dun dun dun. Number 1. Before I get to number 1, this is why I want to shout out the games that didn't make my list. I mean, I should have thought about it more, but there's some games that didn't make my list. So I'm gonna do my honorable mentions right now before I do number 1. My first one on honorable mentions is 13 or 13 Sales. I don't know if a lot of people remember this game. It's kind of an underrated game. I remember I had it. I think Tiger played it a few times at my house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a multiplayer game, first-person shooter. But when other cats were playing Halo and all that, I was like, yeah, fuck all that. 13, just the overall like design of the game. It was like comic books kind of style, where you get blasted and it be like bang, bang, bang. It's pretty tight. And then I just shitted on it. But Halo, I remember when Halo came out, like Halo was so big to us. I was staying below Will. Shout out to my boy Will. That we drilled a hole through the floor of the ceiling, his floor, my roof, to connect our Xboxes, so we could have a battle royale, like house per house. So I remember that, like, yo, you get your squad, I get my squad, let's go, Halo. Another game that is just awesome with the side missions and the story was great. And I just like the fact, like, I'm an underdog type of guy, and I got behind his story real quick. Red Dead Redemption, the original, like, man, that was just like, whoa, you could be a cowboy, you could be an Indian, whoa, that's what's up. I really like that one. And then lastly, that didn't make my list, and I don't know why it didn't make my list. I just thought about it right now. But the Fallout series. Man, I love me some Fallout.
New Vegas.
Yeah, Fallout was just classic, man. Like Fallout 3, Fallout Las Vegas. The new Fallout 88 or whatever, I haven't played that, but Fallout 4 is solid.
You
Just the
ever?
Fallout series I like a lot.
Bro, I used to watch you play that, Marcus Bever. You like,
Yeah.
you want to play? I'm like, nah, I just watch.
That's another game you got to dedicate like a year to, you know, if you really want to truly beat it. But that game is just, man, solid. But anyways, coming at number one, for me, even wore the little Star, I know you guys can't see it, Star Wars shirt, you know what I'm saying? Always been a big fan of like space and outer space and just this world's so jacked up. There got to be a better world somewhere. So I always fell in love with Star Wars and space stuff like that. But Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, man, that game just blew my mind. Like, boom, light side, dark side, kind of like you were saying about Mass Effect. Like in your conversations, if I hit the wrong thing, now they pissed off at me. Now I'm dark side, or now I'm light side. I gotta fight this guy. Or if I don't sugarcoat them, I'm not gonna get the right information. It just had so many different paths you could take. Excuse me. And playing so many games before that where it's linear, where you start here and you have to stop here. Like you go in a straight line. Knights of the Old Republic was like you go way over here and come back way over here. And you got a different ending if you do this, or you got a different ending if you do that. Basically, either you save the universe or you destroy it. I just remember that game was just like, yeah, just fire. Plus, you had a lightsaber. Who doesn't like lightsabers? And that game was just, like I said, that was my number one coming in. There's a lot of games that probably should have been closer to that, but Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic on the original Xbox. Shout out to the big Q box. That's my game. That's my number one.
That was a good game. 13 had a great story too. Another one of those, like, you know what I mean, conspiracy stuff like that. Knights of the Old Republic, that was a great RPG.
All right, Carl, what you got?
And my number one, well, obviously, like I said, like I just took sports games off the list because, you know what I mean, it's like, I don't know, I just didn't feel sports should be in there, even though I devoted a lot of time in my life playing like Madden 94, Madden 99, you know, Tecmo Live 97, like Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Those games didn't make my list for those reasons, just because sports games, first persons, I didn't put on my list. Mostly like action, adventure, and RPG. And with that said, the number one game, franchise, like I said, it's been flip-flop, so it's not like it was my number one set in stone. I'm a heavy PlayStation guy. I followed this from the beginning until recently. It's got better and better and better. There was like a funny prequel they kind of put out, but it wasn't an official. It was, you know, I mean, it was, but it wasn't really tied into the main story. And that's God of War. God of War 3 and 4 in particular. God of War 3 is the highlight of Kratos as a bloodthirsty Spartan who loves nothing. All he knows is rage and destruction and violence. And he's just hell-bent on revenge, and that's it. He's the God of War. And you see the first two games come to a head in the third episode when he finally gets his with Zeus, and, you know, and it seems like the series is over. Then comes God of War for PlayStation 4, and you see the change from, the story is so great, from the bloodthirsty Spartan to a father, to a protector, to a teacher, to someone who's concerned about his son because he can see in his son the rage that he had, that he grew up with. And he has to wonder, is his son destined to come kill him the way he killed his father? To respect his mother, and all the things, all the inner turmoils that from a father and son perspective, and not to mention the overall outside story, and the way they all combined towards the end. It was, if not the best game I ever played, it's probably in that top 5. But as a series, number 3 is just like a nonstop action movie, like an old school 80s Terminator, where it's just like, you know what I mean? You're ripping heads off and you're taking a tooth from one and stabbing it in another's eye. And you're just doing all kind of crazy combinations. And the fourth one, it's open world. you know, you can go side missions, go travel, but as a father and son, you guys can tag team and combine moves. The son is awesome. It just was that great, and that's my number one right there. God of War, particularly PlayStation 4.
All right. Well, it got to be my number one. You know, I'm going back old school Nintendo, and it's Tecmo Bowl 2. That's my game, man. That's like, I swear, probably I only lost like twice in that game in my life, and both times the car. I'm pissed off about it too, but yeah, that was my game. The reason being, Tecmo Bowl 1, you know, that was the originator, but it didn't have everybody. You know, it had a certain amount of teams, if I can remember. But you know, Tecmo Bowl 2 came out, and you could be Barry Sanders. You know, you had Thurman Thomas on the Buffalo Bills. You know, Emmitt Smith and the Cowboys. Man, Warren Moon, Houston Oilers. Man,
Jackson.
Ickey Woods. That was like, and we all had that rule, that Tecmo Bowl rule. Can't pick the Raiders. That was just unfair. You know what I'm saying? You just run on whoever you playing. Bo Jackson, you can't tackle him. He run 1,000 miles an hour. Marcus Allen run 1,000 miles an hour, smooth as hell. Yeah, that was a no-no team right there. You cheating. Then you had the 49ers, and I don't know why that wasn't a no-no team. That team was loaded. And they had Steve Young as a backup if you knocked out Montana. There. Yeah, that was the game, man. I mean, I used to stay like days at a time playing a whole season. I mess up one little thing, I'll start the whole season over.
Yeah, as far as time invested in a game, like, man, that's up there with, like, you know, some of the games that I'm talking about. But like you said, it was like you just play a whole season in one day. That game was like why you make franchise modes, to keep what you had in the other season going.
Yeah. That was my number one. But my honorable mention, though, like Carl always said, was GoldenEye on Nintendo 64. I like that game. I used to like to pick the small guy, the short dude.
Yeah, odd job.
Because folks will shoot at you, but they miss. The bullets will go over your head.
We'll just run around shooting cats in the knees. Like,
yeah. And also, you know what I'm saying, you can't forget Contra. Contra, that was a game. I don't know if y'all remember. It was kind of the Mortal Kombat before Mortal Kombat, but Pit Fighter.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Pit Fighter, yeah.
That was that game. Then also when you go to the arcade, the Simpsons at the arcade.
And that was another one, arcade games, because I really wanted to make a case to put Ninja Turtles and WrestleFest in there, because I used to play that wrestling game and beat it with 1 quarter. So like, you know what I mean? Like my grandma and them would get hella mad because, you know, I'd be there with just 1 quarter playing the game for, like, you know what I mean, 20, 25 minutes. So yeah, WrestleFest was great. Also WWF Attitude and Raw, but it's kind of like a sports game, so I didn't want to put it on my list.
You can't forget Double Dragon too.
Yeah.
Dragon was tight, yeah.
I had it, but man, dude, it's a cutthroat. And that was a cutthroat 5 because I was still trying to make a spot for The Last of Us on there.
Mm.
And I was like, kind of like, can I put The Last of Us? It's just, man, me playing Persona 5 probably last year probably changed that list. Like, so that's probably where it is, because that knocked out Final Fantasy. That knocked out Mass Effect too. And man, Mass Effect is like, it's like a cracking Star Trek. You know what I mean? Like that show was awesome. I mean, that game.
Well,
yeah, I almost put in Call of Duty Black Ops, but I left that out just because, like I said, I didn't really like the storyline, like individual. But if you get online and just play with cats, like, who doesn't like sniping for 50 yards or watching a dude blow up on a claymore. Like I spent many days on the headset, like he's over there, he's over there. Like that new thing where they like Bravo 6 going dark. Like I felt that game when I put my headset on. I felt like an Army soldier. It was definitely hard to come up with these top 5.
How about let's throw in a little bonus? Throw us off and throw everybody else off. How about just freestyle it? Our top 5 movies of all time. Just real style. Just off the head.
Off the head.
Yeah.
Man,
I could give you probably like 3.
I got movies, but like I said, like to sit and rank them against each other. But I tell you what, I give you 5 and 4 right now. Dang.
Look, while he's thinking one movie that just blew my mind. I can't give you no order, but one movie just blew my mind. The original Matrix. Like, that's right when I was like coming to age, I guess, or starting to think for myself, and just the whole idea and premise. When after I watched that movie, I was like, "Am I in the Matrix?" Like it had me feeling like I was in the Matrix. Like Morpheus was gonna come knock on my door and be like, "You want the red pill or the blue pill?" That movie definitely was like, "Whoa!" Like man, that one for sure. Like
I would put. Would I put Avatar in there? I really did like Avatar. I liked Avatar a lot. Like I might put Avatar in there.
Number 5.
Yeah. Because it's hard because it's like I'm trying to like give some subs before I start going into like all I can say because we're talking like Terminator 1. Like man, I love the Terminator 1. Like shoot, there's a lot of movies I like with like senseless violence, so it's kind of hard.
well, not only that, like the category, just to throw it off like this. Like I'm a big fan of the old school, like what was it, Chubby Chase's Christmas Vacations. Like I used to like those ones when I was younger, but you get older, you be like, man, this kind of gets played out a little bit. But definitely, shout out to Chubby Chase and the Christmas Vacations. Those always had me laughing when I was younger. But man,
my number 5, I gotta say, Usual Suspects.
Yeah, that was a classic movie.
I had to watch that movie twice because my mind was blown at the end, so I had to watch it twice to see where you got to pay attention from the beginning to the end, and you're gonna be confused at the end. And it was just, mine was just blown. Like the dude was like this. I don't want to give it away for people, but that's a mind blowing movie right there. That's my number 5.
I mean, man, because I've seen a lot of movies, but yeah, I'll tell you what, Forrest Gump,
Yeah.
Inception.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna probably be Scarface, and then I can't really put them against each other. The Godfather and The Godfather 2 to get as a series. The Godfather 2 is the ultimate movie, like family. You know what I'm saying? Like respect, like man, The Godfather, like the whole everything, the whole culture, everything you embrace from that movie. It's just like I'm not saying like Bible, but it's like instructions, that get passed down, and then you pass it down for the mob and and family, and the way you run business, the way what I mean. You don't talk business around outsiders, and you know what I mean. Like man, The Godfather 1 and 2. I mean that might be it.
Number 2 was definitely solid. I remember that. But as far as mafia movies, Casino.
Yeah.
It was just like man, like damn. Get beat over the head with a bat, like all right, I like that. And then another movie, so you just threw me off with this top 5 right here. Like you can't do that, CP. But what's that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jack Nicholson? The Departed, I think it's called.
Oh,
they're caught.
Yeah.
That movie was like, man, again, where you like you better pay attention or you're gonna be left in the dust.
Yeah.
That movie was classic.
I like actors. And one of my favorite who really don't get a lot of love. He do, but is Omar Epps. And he got like probably 3 of my favorite movies. And I just put them 3 up. My number 4 is First Time Felon, Juice, Undercover.
Juice is classic. Yeah, yeah.
And Undercover, who's that? That's guy. Remember?
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
think-
yeah, yeah.
yeah. What about U-Turn?
Yeah, I was a good one.
Yeah, U-Turn was solid with J-Lo when I didn't know who J-Lo was. Like, who's this?
Uh-huh.
I liked that movie.
Hey, don't sleep on that movie Inception, man. Hey, that movie's concept, you know what I'm saying? That movie's concept was tight. And it took me it was one of those movies after I watched it right back. You know what I mean? It was like, because I never seen anything with that concept of without giving away the story of stealing information out of your dream. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it was kind of and then the fighting. I don't know. Have you guys ever seen the movie?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you remember when they're in the van and they're falling off the cliff and everybody starts falling in the dream world, or it starts raining. Like what's going on in the outside affects on the inside. It was, man, that movie. If you follow it right, because they are throwing a lot at you at one time. You know what I mean? But man, it's a lot to take in. But it's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Another movie I liked that was on the lighter side. I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. My top 5, I don't know, but Big Fish, I like that movie a lot for some reason. Like the storyline, or like the way you didn't know if the dude was talking shit the whole time, but at the end, it turned out to be semi-true or whatever. I like that movie a lot. Like I said, man, just Mystic River was another good movie. It was like, damn, you better pay attention to this shit. Like, that's some fucked up shit. Like, man, I can't just give you my top 5 of all time. I'm gonna miss 70 movies. Like, oh yeah, what about that movie and this movie? So
that's it. Maybe probably for the reason is I liked it Fresh, Menace to Society, and there's a lot of those, but I'm the stories are great, but it's they're great, but I'm all time, man, that's rough.
Big time, man.
I'm gonna go number 3. I'm gonna go old school, and it's The Max. I love that movie. That's the movie right there. It set the tone. It set the tone for the Gift of Gab. You know what I'm saying? Make it from nothing to something. From nothing to something. You know what I'm saying? Just off the Gift of Gab. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, it grounds you. It grounds you. It shows you that everything that glitters ain't gold too. Also, you know what I'm saying? Just because you're at the top, don't mean it can't be taken away from you. It can't fall apart. It grinds you. It grounds you, and lets you know what's really important in your life, and what the stuff that you don't need in your life. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got out of The Mac. But it's classic. You got some classic moments, classic sayings. You know what I'm saying? That movie. You know what I mean?
While you was watching The Mac, I was watching Cheech and Chong and those series. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Cheech and Chong series, going old school. That was the ones I was watching. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you threw me for a loop with these top 5 real quick. It just got me stumped. What really movie impacted me after I seen it? I was like, whoa.
Yeah, because it would be Matrix. I mean, Terminator 2, Predator. I mean, yeah, there's so many, but man, you get to that cream of the crop, man. You need some 10s. That's why I say Forrest Gump, man. It's it's hard to knock something like Forrest. Forrest was, man, that was prime Tom Hanks. Huh?
The Predator.
Yeah. I did want to make a spot for Batman: The Dark Knight.
Because that's a movie.
I think out of all of them, I think I enjoyed that one the most, because it was from when it started to when it's finished, it was just kind of took you on a ride. It's boom, and it's oh, what's going on? And it was Joker has everybody guessing. That movie was really great. Like I said, like you said, the Juices, the Menaces to Society, the Boys in the Hood. Boys in the Hood is up there because it was such a powerful movie with a message.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, you know what I'm saying, my number one is gonna be I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. That's what I got with my wife. We was watching I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. And I had called her. And I was like, "What you doing?" She was like, "About to watch a movie." And I was like, "What movie you about to watch?" Just to try to break the ice. You know what I'm saying? I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. I was like, "Oh shit, that's my favorite movie. Let me come, let me come watch it with you." Hey, she could have been like Sesame Street. I'd have been over there. That's my favorite shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. That was my number one. But then you can't forget. You can't forget about Friday the 13th, Halloween.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, I never really got the appeal of those scary movies. Like the ones that I always watched, like, you know, when I was younger, they definitely scared me. I'm not gonna say they weren't, but as I get older, I'm just like, why are you gonna go investigate that shit? Leave that shit alone, man. You know what I'm saying? Dude over there stabbing people, move. You ain't gotta, you know, that's his house. That's their house. I never got that appeal of that shit.
Why you gonna go? Why you gonna go camping at Crystal Lake? You know, everybody died 2 summers in a row. Why you gonna?
You know what? You know what? You know a movie I really liked it that was recent was that movie Searching,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I seen that one.
where it was all done. It was all done through like social media, or it was all done through like TV cameras or whatever. It wasn't done like regular film style.
Mm.
Like the whole movie was like that, like done in like Scott, like we are right now. That's like the whole movie. And the dude's just going through whatever. You never really see the dude doing anything. Everything is through like Skype or a social media app, or the whole thing is on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
The Paranormal series is good too.
Another shout out to the one movie I really liked. I think I seen it with you, CP, and I was like, when I was done, I was like, what the hell did we just watch? The Fourth Kind.
Yeah.
That movie had me be like, man, do I go to sleep right now or not? Like, what's going on? And another very honorable mention I gotta do real quick: Bruce Lee and all of Bruce Lee's movies, Into the Dragon. You know what I'm saying? All those movies was classic.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bloodsport. Remember Bloodsport?
Another good one. Yeah.
It was like Frank Dukes, my man Dukes. Remember when he came late? Remember when he came late? Dude was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to disqualify him. And that dude was like, hey my man, hold on. He put the money in his pocket, and then Jean-Claude Van Damme showed up, and he looked, and he took the money back out of dude's pocket. And I was like, hell yeah. He was like, my man Dukes, I knew you'd show up.
Yeah. What about the Conan the Barbarian movies?
Yeah.
It was solid.
Yeah, dude, Arnold. I mean, man, Arnold was like pretty much action. You know, Stallone had Rocky. I mean, like I said, Rocky's great. You know what I mean?
Rocky's classic.
Oh, what about see? That's what I'm saying. You just threw me off guard. But Die Hard with the Vengeance. Come on now, yeah. That movie was, man. I was like, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Like, dude, everybody wanted to say that when that movie came out. Like, dude, that shit for me was the shit.
Lethal
Weapons, yeah.
Yeah, the one with Jet Li was hard. And Chris Rock. I don't know.
I'm not Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
I'm a fan, but the Bad Boy series, I like part 1. I didn't really watch part 2 and 3. It like came kind of like watching part 1 over again. You know what I mean?
I mean, like Independence Day was like when I was a kid was cool, and you know be like, it was all right. I was mostly out there like, yeah, like because Will was the Fresh Prince, so it was like, yeah, you know.
Well, one good movie that I just seen lately was Elysium. My coworker told me about that. I don't know if y'all watched it yet, but that's about what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? Got the little space station and everybody living good out there, and the world is fucked up. Yeah, Elysium, y'all should check that out.
Yeah, I seen that one. One movie I watched like 2/3 of the way, but I had to stop to go do something. Carl told me about a long time ago. Gone Baby.
Yeah.
That movie is, man. That movie was like, what the hell did I just am I watching right now? That movie's solid. Yeah.
Also, the first Ocean's 11, the very first one,
Mhm.
man, that was great.
Mhm.
Like how they all made it work, like chemistry wise. The first one was like, then this started kind of getting out there or whatever. But I mean, because I know everybody's like John Wick and everybody's kind of captivated by John Wick movies, but I was always more of a Jason Bourne guy. He's probably like my number one movie. You know what I mean? Like Jason Bourne. Like I loved his movies because he'll get down with a phone book. He'll get down with a phone book and a syringe, and just like go out there getting it in.
The Transporter was solid though. The first Transporter, yeah.
What about the Four Brothers?
Yeah, that was a good movie.
It was alright. Like I said, I mean, top 5 though. Like
Nah.
you can talk. Yeah. That's
It was
what
a good movie though.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
tough.
He just got off the top 5. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah.
Well,
But
in
I
that
mean,
case,
come on, it's like Scarface is just like, you know what I mean? That's why it's like when we talk about like Menace to Society, that's why I was like, is it good enough for Scarface's spot? It's like when we're talking about video games. I only plan really to have one RPG, so it's like, are any of these good enough for a Persona 5 spot? That's what I'm thinking of when I'm like, okay, your Boys in the Hood, like, dang, over Scarface, like man, I only really have room for one kind of like hood hero, you know what I'm saying? One hustler ambition, you know what I mean? It's like I'll take the dishwasher, you know what I'm saying, who came and worked his way up.
you got
speaking of drug.
paid in full. You gotta have that on there.
Oh yeah. What's that one with Mel Gibson when he's talking about getting revenge? He just wants the 150,000. They keep it like payback.
Yeah, Payback.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I like that movie.
But they kept giving him money too. He's like, dude, I don't want this money.
Yeah, he's like, I just want my little bit of money only. Yeah. Another movie I got to do shout out to since you said Scarface. I just thought about Blow. Blow is a good movie. Yeah.
And dude, Blow is up there.
That movie be pissing me off, man. He be getting done dirty, you know what I'm saying? And then just to go out like that at the end,
That's how real life is, Be the solid people get screwed over.
Man, he got screwed over that way.
Hey, what about, like you said, we said movie, what about top 5 TV show series?
Yeah, this guy.
5 TV show series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Martin,
classic.
gotta be. Sanford.
In my top 5, since I'm old and they still going, I gotta put the Simpsons somewhere in there. I just watched a lot of them from a young age. I think they going on like 25 seasons, something like that. I was down with them for at least 15 of those, 16 of those.
Mm-hmm.
The Simpsons, maybe.
Sanford and Son. That's still popping to this day.
I gotta put
you got me on that show. I like that show. You got me on that show.
That's what else? What have I been watching a lot of? I like Narcos, that Ozark, Seinfeld.
On the funny aspect, New Girl. I always thought New Girl made me laugh out loud every time I watched it. That shit was funny.
I don't know. I had to think more about that. I like Power, but it's hard because like Sons of Anarchy is like, man, dude, I was into the Sons, but then it kind of faded towards the end. Power was pretty solid, like you know what I mean? Power was pretty solid all the way through.
I'll give you one right now, Tiger, that I know that it might be up there with you. I don't know about UCP, but every episode I waited for it to come out, especially the last few seasons. But Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Game of Thrones had me like, come on, man, hurry up, get this shit out of here.
Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones is up there. It's way up there.
Yeah, I had to watch that series. I think you told me about it, Marcus, and I remember I watched it like the whole series in like a week, back to back. Yeah.
The bloody wedding was just like, whoa.
Yeah, that thing was cutthroat.
Yeah.
With the brother and the sister.
Yeah, it was.
Mitchell dude.
got out there. The last season, I was like, man, they just try to wrap this up real quick. They just try to put an ending to this thing. I wasn't the best, but like those first few seasons were like the North is coming. Like, oh my gosh, the North is coming.
The Mitchell dude, he was off the chain. He was getting.
But yeah, now that we've gone off course for a while, I just want to tell everybody, like I said, who, well, first off, shout out to everybody who made it all the way through past our list to, you know what I'm saying, listen to us just get into some personal favorites. But yeah, like I said, that was my 5. That was CP 5. That was Marcus 5. And if you can get a little bit of time and a little bit of money, go get you Persona 5. You know what I'm saying? Go play Persona 5, damn it. That game needs more love and exposure. Or go get the Royale if you want to pay a little bit more. That game is probably it is a perfect game. I mean, that game is everything that you would want in a remake, you know what I'm saying? Like the graphics redone, you know what I'm saying? Updated moves. Hey, at that God of War, yeah, check out those games if you haven't already. Go do that because there's new video games dropping soon.
Yeah, to all the people that got the old Xbox, man, get 13. Get it from China, get it from South Africa, wherever you got to find it. Don't sleep on that. And Knights of the Old Republic, like I said, that's my #1 game. Hey, if you like Star Wars, you're going to like that game, period.
Yeah. Well, all right, y'all. That's enough for today. That's today.
Yeah, if you guys liked our top 5, man, comment below. Let us know what we missed out. Let us know what your top 5 was. Shoot us that like. Hit that smash button. We appreciate y'all. CP want to give you a little special message about the app.
Yes. Hit us on the Cash App at $CDP209. Again, $CDP209. Hit us up on that Cash App. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick. If you want to support us that way, hey, man, we got merch coming out soon. Merchandise. 3 reasons why. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want to put your orders in right now, feel free. We got you. Coming soon. We on all platforms. Podbean, Podcast, YouTube. Come on Spotify. Your mama's TV. Then we coming to you. Get in here.
All right. Anything
Yeah,
else?
that's it. Hey, you guys be safe. Enjoy your day. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk to you guys later. Everybody out there in the 209 worldwide, be safe. God bless. We all in this together.
All right. See y'all next time.